Hey, I'm Gary from PA Hydroponics, York Springs, Pennsylvania. We also have a store in Maryland called All Good Garden Supply. If you're in the area, check us out. Today we're going to do a complete build video for a 4-plant Fallponic system in the 13-gallon containers. This one we're building is actually going to be for non-applicable in New York. So I want to do this video. I've talked to my friends and family. They're like, don't tell everybody your secrets, but you know what? I do this stuff because I love it and I like you all. And please subscribe to us. You know, it makes me feel good, if anything. Especially Canada. Canada keeps wanting me to ship the stuff up there, and you guys are cool up there and everything, but it's just, you know, other store owners down here probably add up what I did here, and they know I'm not making much on this. And to have to deal with customs and detailed invoices and all that and international transfer fees, I just don't ship out of the country. And as for everybody else around the world, because we've had calls from all over, this is an idea. You can take this idea and adapt it to what you got in your area. Try to stick with some ideas though, because I do things for a certain reason with a lot of this. I've been running the store for 10 years. I've seen tons of systems online that are, I look at them, I'm just like, how is that going to hold up? How is that going to work? So we're going to start off just by going over this real quick. If you haven't seen this up and running, we got other videos out there how to hook this up and get it up and running. So look those up. And before going any further, I just want to let everybody know I've gone through a lot of stuff with these microphones. We have tried multiple microphones. We got an iPhone 6 here. That's what we do our filming on, which is a great picture and everything. But we've had wireless, we've had clip ones, and it's been tough. So please bear with us on the sound. But anyway, let's get into the system here. Some people have been trying to turn our Hydroponic system into a Fallponic system. Our Hydroponic uses 1-inch tubing down here, so that is a slow flow system. Other systems online, I've seen 1/2-inch tubing for a recirculating deep water culture system. I mean, you can't circulate much water through a 1/2-inch tube. It just doesn't happen. So 1-inch line, really the max that I've gotten to work is 75 gallons per hour. And this system here is 400 gallons per hour. So we are doing 3-inch big white pipe here. And that is gonna it's going to be plenty for you to run. I even have one customer who put an 800 gallon per hour on here and said it's working as far as I know. So the 3-inch pipe, another thing with that is the roots. And this can happen with Hydroponic system or any RDWC system with small circulation lines, is the roots can get in there and clog them up. You can put a screen inside of here to try to block the roots, but then the screen itself gets clogged up. So it just can lead to problems. So 3-inch pipe the whole way is awesome, and then you don't got to worry about it. If you are watching me for the first time here, this system is unique because the reservoir out here is outside of the grow tent. So you can monitor your pH here, check your ppms, you can add water, you can add your nutrients in there. And it also has an outboard pump, so the pump's not sitting in the water, heating the water up. So it runs cooler. It's got the water level indicator for your reservoir, because that's the most important thing to keep full in this thing. And we have lots of other videos that talk about how to keep that topped off. Check those out. So anyway, pretty much the water's coming out of there. This pump's sucking it out of the control bucket. The water returns in through this little hump piece here that goes through the tent port. And this is angled down as far as you can get it so that your water level, you know, it keeps things flowing better. When you first fill this thing up, you fill it up halfway, then turn your Waterfall on, and that will blow the bubble out of this pipe, and then it'll flow fine. Over here, and this will go for any of the versions you build of this, everything's got to be even on the waterfalls. That way everything is even. So from where the pump breaks off into multiple plants, everything is even. These two pieces are even, these are even. That keeps the water divided up evenly. If you did, this works on the 2-plant, you just have one divide here on the 2-plant, the 4-plant, and then you can't really do a 6-plant because you cannot split it up the right way to do a 6. So, and also an 8-plant will work because I've built those already for people. That's a special order thing if you guys need them. But if I was going to go up to the 16-plant, which people have called in about, I would actually run 2 separate pumps off the reservoir and just make it into 2 8-plant systems but share the same reservoir. So that's the gist of that. the system pretty much flows in the top and then goes out the bottom and then back out. So you get a real circulation within the buckets themselves. Another big advantage of the system is if you're using a chiller, because a lot of systems, they flow like around the buckets. So if you're chilling the water up front, by the time it gets down to the end bucket, the water is probably warmed up. So, or a little bit warmer than normal. So it's not even. And to me, I'm just like, I like to have everything even. So with this system, since everything's perfectly divided, each site is getting 100 gallons per hour. And if you're using a chiller, each site's getting the same exact temperature water. So it's really a great system. Comes in an 8-gallon version, which is this. Today we're going to be using the 13-gallon buckets because we're going to build it for this dude in New York. And the buckets themselves, these are easy store containers. They come in 2 sizes, and these are the lids for them. And the lids have a flap that you can get in there and do whatever you got to do. I have also helped some guys down in DC. They're going to use these yellow totes on this, building themselves. They came up here. Shout out to you guys. These still should work. They have a slight angle on the side because you wouldn't want to use something where the angle, you can't get it bent out. So this here, technically you could probably make that work. You can get down pretty far down too, into the bottom of it. So yeah, if you're going to do it yourself, I think this should be able to work. But I like these totes here. They're just nicely built. I was originally wanting to go out the hole and head straight over, but it hits like right here, and there's a line here. So I just couldn't do it. I had to make it go back down and in. This one here, same deal. You got this rim right here. So you're really stuck on the bottom here. And plus, I like to be able to drain the whole system down. So as far as down you get these is where I put them. Some of the tools you're going to need for this thing. And we're going to go through, this whole video is going to be long. So if you guys are bored already. Alright, let's see. This is for the big bulkheads. These guys. This is 3 3/4 inch hole saw. I think the company that makes these actually said 3 7/8, if I'm not correct there, but the 3 3/4 works fine. For your top pieces, which is going to be your Waterfall bulkheads, these are 3/4 inch bulkheads. I don't think it's necessary to use 1 inch. I thought about it, but the 3/4 inch line is just a lot more flexible and easy to work with, and it handles plenty of flow, so we're going with that. And that is a 1 1/4 inch hole saw. Your airline is a 1/4 inch. We just use standard airline, 1/4 inch drill bit. Then you're going to need something to clean up your holes with. This is a deburring tool, and I love using these. When I first got one, I didn't even know what it was for, but after I messed around with it, I was like, okay. Or you can use this. So something to get the burrs off the holes, because you need nice clean holes. Silver Sharpie, something to write on the black buckets, because it's hard to show up. You're going to be very precise with your measurements here. For the drilling, safety glasses I do recommend. You don't want shards of plastic shooting in your eyes. And of course a tape measure. Alright, so I'm going to lay my buckets out on the floor first here. I always start these systems by drilling the buckets. That's just my method here. I've been obviously building a lot of these. And you have your choice of going out the right side of the right side of the tent or the left, so you got to think about that too. All the buckets are kind of going to get drilled the same way, so once you figure this out, it's actually pretty quick and easy. And I'm going to take my marker here. After this, we're going to drill the lids and do the PVC, so just, yeah, bear with us here. Alright, so this back bucket, I have them all connected with the pipe. That's the question I get too. Just in case, I could just have pipe here and then over to there, but I put an extra piece in the back. Just in case the water does start to get resistant somewhere, it's got another way it can go in and out. So better safe than sorry on that. All the PVC is cut the exact same size too, so that it all kind of goes together easy in a way. I did that on purpose just to make it not complicated for people. All right, so my 3-inch hole is going to be here and here, and then my 3-inch hole is going to be here and here, and then this one is going to be coming in this side and there. Now this one's going to have a hole coming in there, there, and over here. So we've got all 3 sides here. And that's the one leading out to the reservoir. So I'm just kind of doing a little mark here so I don't get confused. Then of course the reservoir is going to have one coming in. So that's pretty much where my drilling is going to be. And I'm going to start back here on the back side. On this here, pretty much your 3-inch hole, your big 3-inch bulkheads are going to be 3 inches from the bottom, and they're going to be in the center. So measure from the bottom of your bucket over, then you're going to have to center this thing up. So you're going to have to measure your bucket and get it in the center. We're about 11 inches there. So, and these have to be exact. So right there. So that's my bullseye to drill at. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and mark my other side here. Same thing, you want to come up 3 inches. This is far down as I can get these bulkheads without them hitting the bottom of the bucket. So it'll help you. The farther down you get them, the better for the draining. Let's see, I'm going to get to that T-square in a minute here because there's a reason I picked that up. All right. So we're at 7. So yeah. And pretty much these have to be drilled exact. So everything I sell out of the store that gets drilled, I actually do the drilling. All right. The drill bits, when you first get them, you definitely want to go backwards. When you go backwards, it makes the hole a lot smoother. I've had this drill bit for a while and it's been tearing stuff up. So I usually go forward to get the main bit in, and then you hit reverse. All right. So that is the first hole. And I go and I clean all that up after I drill some, get done a bucket. So just the way I do it. You guys can just take this info and do what you want with it. As plastic shoots over me, I'm like, yep, safety glasses. Yeah, you should put those on. All right, so that's your main bucket here. Got the deburring tool. This thing's pretty cool to clean up these holes. It takes off this rough edge here. You can get it on the inside rim too. So it makes it nice and smooth. So yeah, that's how you get a nice perfect hole there. You can also use the razor blade and just, you need to be deburred. That way your rubber gasket can seal that thing up. All right, so that's going to be, it's going to be there. And your waterfall, I kept all the waterfall stuff in the middle of the system. That way you can access your tent on the outside and not have to deal with all the hoses and everything. So you're going to have a waterfall here and there. So they're going to go that way and these are going to go that way. So I'm going to need a hole right here. I went as high up as I can go here just because the farther the water comes down, the more splashing it does, the more bubbles you get and the more air. So and as high up as I can get these is about 2 1/4 inches down from the top. So, and again, they have to be perfectly centered up. So 2 1/4. There's some little rims under here that you can kind of use to help you guide where the center is. This bit's real old, so I'm just drilling forward. The smaller the bits kind of go through a lot easier anyway. All right. So that is going to be your waterfall connection there. And then that'll allow this thing to screw right on. These have the double washers. You really only need one washer with these things on the inside, but it doesn't hurt to have an extra. But yeah, see, pretty much I can't go up any higher because it hits this rim right here. Alright. So pretty much that is one bucket. I wait till the end to do the air because that way I can change my bit out. And as you can see, I have two drills here because I do this all the time. So let me show you my other handy dandy thing here. After I've been building a zillion of these things, I got a T-square. And I kind of marked everything I need for all my systems on here. So I don't have to keep taking the tape measure out. And this makes everything nice and perfectly even and everything. So I'm in the middle of the bucket. I'm using this little dot here, which is perfectly in the middle. And then over here, coming down, use my little dot up here. And then bam, there's 3 inches. And then over here, for this side, there's these two little bottom ridges here, so I kind of got my T-square. I got some marks on my T-square so I can get it eyed up without having to measure anything. So there's my dot for that. And then up at the top, I got a line drawn up there. So voila. That's how I mass produce them at the moment. I think people at home think I have like 50 people in a factory somewhere, but it's all good. Does make a mess. I'm only like 2 buckets in and the floor is already covered with plastic shards, and it's like the plastic's electrically charged, so it just sticks everywhere. It's pretty crazy. So that's 2 down. I usually drill the whole thing and then deburr it at the end, but since we're videotaping this one, it's kind of threw me off a little bit on a few things, but do it the other way so you can see better. All right, 3 inches down. Come on, baby. All right. Well, I've seen a lot of waterfall systems out there. People seen people, like good growers build them, but they're using 1-inch line, and I never see the end of those videos. I never see the end of them videos because I got a real bad feeling those things clog up like crazy with the 1-inch tubing. It's just the way it is. And of course, they're not going to go there and post that. It got all messed up after they did all that building. So this one should not ever get clogged up. Though I've talked to commercial growers that have clogged up 3-inch PVC before, which kind of blows my mind, but I think people drilling a lot of these hydro systems too far down is where you get that bottom rim and it just throws off your bulkheads just a little bit to the point where they get a little leak. Leaking in all the RDWC systems seems to be one of the main things people have a problem with, obviously, because you're in your house and you don't want stuff leaking everywhere. The reservoir, we're going to be going to 3-inch into one side. Then the front's going to have your water level kit going up the side so you can see where your water level is in here. You don't want this reservoir to drain all the way down because you got a pump hooked up to this, so you don't want to run that pump dry. So keep that in mind. We do have another video for a reservoir top-off system that's really cool. You should check that out. Alright, so 3-inch up just like the rest. The reservoir top-off kit, I go 1 5/8 up. That can go up the middle, it can go up to the side a little bit, don't really matter. But I like to get mine centered up. So 1 5/8. I got my little roller here. Alright, so that's going to be the water level kit. Then after that, we're going to drill the hole for the pump. Alright. There is your... Alright. Get that cleaned up real quick. I do this a little bit different when I'm just in here building these things. So this video is throwing me off a little bit on some of this, just trying to talk while I'm doing it, and I will admit that. All right, so let's see. So water level kit, your little hump piece is going to go over there. So now you need to deal with your pump. I designed it so the pump is right next to this. That way I can run my pump tubing up through the whole of the tent. So for that, pretty much going to be 3 inches over from the side and 1 5/8 inch up, and that will allow the pump to sit on the floor even with the bottom of this. So So 3 inches, right about there. Then you got your 1 5/8 inch up. So that's my bullseye for that. That's another 1 1/4 inch hole saw. That's going to use the regular 3 1/4 inch bulkheads that the rest of the system uses. So you're going to need 5 of these all together when you build this. Alright. And we're about done drilling. Next thing we're going to do is the air line real quick. The airline is going to use a 1/4 inch bit. And also, your water level indicator kit has a little clip that clips up here, and that is also a 1/4 inch. So while I got my drill bit ready, that's just going to go up here on this top lip right here. Don't drill through the whole bucket, just the lip itself. So kind of goes slow on that. Like that. Alright, so that's going to be down here like this. And then as for the air, I try to run the air all up in the middle here. That way the air tubing is not in my way around the outside of the garden. And no matter what kind of system you're building, just think about stuff like that, because you're going to be out here trimming stuff with scissors and all that. So I'm trying to get it up as high as I can, just in case I ever do want to have my water level way up. I don't want it dripping out the holes for the airline. So I just been putting them up here. There is these little lips inside the bucket, so I try not to drill into them little lips. It's like a little raised thing. So you can kind of tell on the outside of the bucket where it's at. It's kind of hard to see on this video, but there's a little line there, so I'm going beside it. There's one. Alright, so that is all the drilling. Now's a good time to go get all these things cleaned up. As you can see, I do drill everything on a little towel here, just so I don't scratch these buckets up. We get them by the pallet in here, and even though they're pallet wrapped, they still have random scratches on them. And I apologize, like, I'm not going to just throw out buckets because of a scratch, but that's pretty much going to be it for the drilling. Alright. What we're going to do next is we're going to go do the PVC. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do all this, so let's go get some PVC done. Alright, for the PVC, this stuff is, you can get it anywhere, it's cheap, and you end up spending more money on the 9-degree elbows than the pipe itself. For the 4-plant version, you're going to need 4 of these. The 2-plant version, you only need 1 of these, and these are 9 inches apart, 9 inches long, and this works with all the different systems I built. The 2x4 tent, the 4x4 tent version, the 4-foot by 8-foot, and so pretty much I made it so it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, instead of having all different sizes on this pipe, because that just makes everything more difficult. I just use a chop saw on this. I got an old junk blade on here. You can use a sawzall, pipe cutter, hacksaw, whatever you got. You know, if you can't figure that out, then this is probably too much for you to be dealing with anyway. So for the 4-plant version, 4 of these, and then I'm going to need a little 3-inch piece, which is going to be to put the little caterpillar inchworm piece together, which I'll show you that in a little bit. So safety glasses, like if you're cutting this stuff, no matter how you're cutting it, I would put some safety glasses on, because PVC shooting in your eye is not fun. So the next piece is 3-inch. I know they sell this pipe in like 5-foot sections too at the hardware store I go to. So if you only need a little short piece, hopefully you'll be able to make that work. Alright, so that should do it for this, for the cutting part of it. And next we're going to go into the greenhouse and do some gluing. Alright, so I'm in the greenhouse here. After I glued the first couple of these systems, this stuff is so nasty, I don't even do it in the store anymore at all, and I wear this awesome mask here. I call this glue, but it is definitely not typical glue. Something about the glue you need to know is this is ABS plastic. These are the 3-inch bulkheads that screw on everything. We got these on the website in case you're wondering what they are. And this is PVC pipe. So the regular purple primer and the stuff I'm used to is what is PVC to PVC, but we need something that is compatible with ABS and PVC. So this is Oatly, and it does everything I need it to do. This stuff is nasty as can be for breathing in. So if if you're gonna do a few of these, maybe go outside or something and save your lungs, because I actually don't even like gluing anymore. But since I got this mask, it's been way better. Like when I put this on, I can't even smell the glue at all. But I still question if it gets in my eyes. I usually have my 600-watt fan going up here in the greenhouse to keep the air going out of here. So that's just a little bit of precautions here while you're gluing. And back to the glue itself, it's actually bonding. This stuff like melts the PVC and the ABS plastic together, and it will never come off again no matter what. So try to do it right the first time. And for the 4-plant system, the Caterpillar is going to be 4 of these 90-degree street elbows. The street elbow has a female and a male end together. The regular 90-degree ones have both female ends. So if we had both female ends doing on all these and we had to hook them together, you pretty much would have to cut little spacers for every single one of them. And I found these street elbows just saves you a lot of gluing, and it saves you having to cut extra PVC. So pretty much they're going to go in something like this, and that's going to get you out your tent. Then the bulkheads themselves, these are real nice. They got a nice big rubber washer on here that just seals up the system real nice. Like these, I never had a problem with them leaking ever. And then, as we already talked about, you got your 4 pieces of 9-inch, 3-inch PVC. Then one for the very end of here, because we're going to need at least one to get into the system. And don't dry fit these on here all the way, because you can't get them back off. So pretty much I'm going to be putting a small bead of glue around here, and make sure you get all the way around really good. And then I'm going to be also gluing this, a nice bead of glue around there. You're going to go around a couple times, and then you're going to put them together and you're going to hold it down, because these try to push off. The glue reacts with plastic and it'll try to push off. So you hold it down for about 10 to 20 seconds. That way it's stuck there and it's not going to push off. These pieces here, there's a line that runs down here, and you pretty much want that to line up. When you screw things on with the glue, you give it a twist, like a 25, like a quarter turn twist pretty much. And then that makes sure the glue smears around and really seals it up. So that's something else you want to do. I'm going to show you all this stuff. I just don't want to do this without my mask on, and I can't talk with the microphone with the mask on, so I'll be sounding like Darth Vader and stuff. So yeah, other than that, I'm going to start gluing. Alright, so we got our 4, we got our bend, and when I build these, I go build 6 at a time. So I got a whole boxes of stuff here that I gotta go glue. But yeah, you get the main idea of this. This stuff will stink for like a day. This is the same glues that they use in your house for your drinking water, so even though it stinks bad, the stink goes away in about a day. That's about all I got to say. I have one little drip on this one. But other than that, you know, if you get really crazy with the glue, you'll have drips going all over the place, which I've gotten better at in the past month or so. So I'm getting out of this stinky place for a minute. And we're going to go start working on another part of this project. Alright, so the big question is, how do we drill these holes in these lids? I've done this a few different ways. I've used a jigsaw around here. I've tried to hunt down a hole saw. This is about an 8-inch basket here. This is a Grow Pro heavy duty 8-inch net basket. These things are like way stronger than a lot of the ones I've dealt with. But finding a hole saw 8-inch, I couldn't find one. I mean, I even hunted like other countries. They go up to about 7/7/8. So yeah, this is the net basket. What I ended up finding was the most dangerous tool in the world that I've ever used. Like, I would rather use a chainsaw than this thing, but it works really good. This is a circular cutter. It's totally adjustable. It goes up to 8 inches. So it pretty much comes with a little Allen wrench. You can slide these in and out. And I took my basket and a piece of cardboard, a thick piece of cardboard, and I just messed with it until I got the hole right. So I didn't waste any of my lids here. But this thing does work really good. It's just dangerous as heck. Like, and you'll see once I get this thing going. Yeah, that thing's crazy. Definitely wear safety glasses with this. So maybe a chainmail vest if you got one laying around from your. All right. We want to, on the lids here, we pretty much have this area to work with. So you got a little bit of room here, wiggle room, but I try to get them centered up within this panel of the lid on the Easy Store container lids. And to do that, you can use a measuring tape and kind of just get it, find a center point. I've already done like hundreds of these things, so I actually saved one of my discs from what I cut. And so once you cut one, you can use your disc as a guide to eye it up and get it on there. So there's my center point hole there. When I drill them, I use an empty bucket. That way it kind of locks the lid on a little bit. And I got my station set up here so this thing's not sliding all over the place. Like I said, this thing is really dangerous, so try to just be very careful with it the first time until you get used to it. Alright, so I'm just going to go in my center hole. Guess that's not supposed to happen, but needless to say, nice clean cut there. And then after your first hole, you definitely want to recheck to make sure your net basket's in there nice and tight. It doesn't have to be tight because we're going to zip tie them down, which I'm going to show you that shortly. When I go to do these, I do whole stacks at a time, but I'm not going to make you guys sit there and watch all that. Another thing for the net basket itself, I use zip ties to tie them down. That way my plant, if it gets real tall, I don't want to take any chance of it wobbling around. So the zip ties will hold it down. I've just been doing 3 on these. It seems to be working good. That's something you can, if you buy the system at home, you can take these zip ties off and clean stuff and just buy some new zip ties. So I put my basket in there. 1, 2, and 3. Then you can take your zip tie, feed it through if it wants to cooperate. Not a good start on zip ties. There we go. just snip the end off like that. And I do that a zillion times. It's still definitely a lot less expensive than going and buying a pre-made lid for these things. I was using thinner zip ties too at one point, but I ran out of them, so. So there it is. And it should hold up for a long time, so I'm going to keep one drilling here. I'm going to take my mic off for this, but hopefully that clears up some of your questions. All right, got our put our PVC on here. That way you guys will know how to measure the rest of it out. I already have this all measured. I already know, but the best way to do it is put it all together. These bulkheads have this big rubber grommet on them, really nice and thick. They go on the outside of the bucket, and there's a little lip in here that they fit around. So make sure you got them seated right on there. It's the only way these things really can leak is if it ain't put on right. So I'm just going to go throw this all together, and we're going to fast forward through that. All right, got everything hooked together here. I just want to go over this real quick. This is, I don't want to blow any names out there, but if you've seen these, instead of using the good bulkheads, these things are a nightmare in my opinion. I mess with these. If you look around the internet a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're cheaper than the bulkheads, but you're just asking for problems. So on here, we are going to be using some T's here. When I go cut my tubing for the waterfall, I just start at the top and work my way down and over. So you're pretty much going to have a T in here and a T down here. Then that's going to come over to the middle, and then you're going to have a T going down to the floor. And I guess if you were building it yourself, you could try to ride this out the hole or whatever. But I like to have it on the floor. That way everything's on the floor, and I don't have to worry about it sagging down, hitting anything. I do use some elbows. These are 3/4 inch elbows. So when I come up off the pump, I have an elbow that kind of helps it go that way. And then that kind of goes around the corner here, and then I have an elbow laying there, and then down in the middle here, I have another elbow going straight up. I like using the elbows because it just makes sure you're not going to get kinks in your lines. So that is up to you. But I use them when I build these. I usually build the manifold in 2 parts. That way when I ship them, all you have to do is stick one hose together and it's ready. So pretty easy. And like I said before, we do have a full setup video for this already on the internet. So the airline, I might as well touch on that real quick. This is 1/4 inch airline, same stuff from aquariums or whatever. I like the green. This is Floraflex, excellent brand of this stuff. You can use black. I don't like using clear. If you have to, you can use it. But I always found that clear can have a slight fiber optic effect. This is 10-foot, 4 10-foot pieces what we ship out with the system. So I'm not going to go through cutting all that. As for the 3/4 inch tubing, I went and added all this up, and for the 13-gallon version, it's about 10 feet. It was like 9.47 feet. So 10 foot should do it for this, for the 4x4 grow tent. The system does fit in a 5x5 too. You just got to shift it over this way a little bit to center it up, but yeah. The tubing, I've gone through multiple brands of this stuff, and I've had people online telling me they've ordered it from other places and it always has the bend in it. I've laid this out on the sidewalk on a hot day and got the bend almost all the way out, but it is tough. Even if you order small pieces on the internet, it's going to come rolled up. I mean, that's all there is to it. So I try to use my bend to my advantage here and kind of use the bend to help it bend around the whole system. Even hot water, I've tried to put it in hot water. It doesn't really come out like permanently out. Like, it's never going to be perfectly straight. But anyway, what we're going to do first is the top part of the waterfall here. So pretty much with this, we're going to need 2 short pieces in between here and here. And then on the other side, 2 short pieces. Now these pieces are, all 4 of these pieces will be cut exactly the same length. That way the waterfalls are evenly waterfalling. So I've already measured out that, of course. And they are about 3 1/8 of an inch. This is a pipe cutter here. These are nice to have, especially if you're building this much stuff. I've had a few different models of these things. This one I'm not a big fan of. The last one we broke. So I'm doing 4 of these. When I go to put these on the fittings, I prefer the hot water method. I go get a bucket of hot water, which I'll show you in a little bit. And I have this little case laid out here. That way I can come up here and rip these things out quick. I know at home you can kind of just take your time and measure the stuff out the right way. Alright, so next pieces, we got our 4 pieces for here. Next pieces are going to be from here to the middle. So once again, you're going to have 2 even pieces, 1 piece and 1 piece coming in, and they got to be cut even. That way everything's going to run evenly. So you're kind of going to go, you're going to be roughly 23 inches. So you're going to have to just divide it up and figure this out, because I've got a feeling people are going to be doing things a little bit different with this. And so those 2 pieces on this particular setup are 11 inches. So you got to kind of take into account for the thickness of this too. So that knocks about 3/4 of an inch off. All right. All right. And then from that tee, from that is going to go down to the floor. So the 8-gallon version of this has a shorter piece there. That's the only thing different in here between the 8-gallon and the 13-gallon. That piece there is 15.5 inches. If you're going to follow all my specs exactly. All right. Then I cut a piece from the floor, which is that's gonna go down to an elbow here, and then your elbow is gonna kind of curve around here. It's gonna go out to here, and then from there it's gonna have an elbow that's gonna kind of head you in that direction out the hole of the tent. So that piece there is 17 inches. And then from there, you're going to go out the tent. So from there, it's going to kind of snake up around here and go down to here. So you're going to be hugging this pipe pretty close, because you're going to pull your tent hole shut around this pipe. So, and then that's got to sneak up to where your pipe, where your pump comes up. So we will get to that very shortly. That is 35 inches. And then from your pump up is 8.5 inches. And this is going to go from the 400 gallon per hour pump up and then out through an elbow. And then that's going to head that way to the middle, and then yeah. So I'm going to go fill up some hot water, and before I do that, I think we should take a quick walk over here and show you what it's going to look like when it's done. This system, I'm not going to put it totally together because it's going to be shipping out, and once you put these soft tubing on there, and they're on there for a couple days or whatever, they start imprinting the tubing. So if you try to take tubing off and you try to put it back on again, there's a good chance that it might not seal up right. So I try to get everything ready, put the tubing on and leave it on. Here is the Waterfall pump. I do have to cut another little piece over there, which we'll do that when we get back over there. That's going to go from reservoir over. Then this is the short piece I was talking about. It comes up to line up with the top of the tubing. Then that's the long piece that goes out in the middle. So you can kind of tell here is that middle piece. That's your elbow on the floor. Then the bottom of the floor is there. Comes up to a T, evenly divides out to 2 T's, and then these are all even, and that should technically divide your pump up and have totally even water falling going on. Yeah. Now you know. I'll meet you back over there. The little piece from the reservoir to the pump is 3 3/4 inch. And then that should do it for all the pieces we're going to need. Alright, so yeah, this bend in this pipe, try to take it to your advantage in here. I think eventually it's going to flatten out some and straighten up a little bit. So alright, I'm going to go get hot water. Alright, when I ship these, this is the one that comes out of the reservoir to the pump. So we got our tubes in the hot water here, so that helps it go together a lot better. I always pre-put this on for everybody so they know what it is and why it's there. So this is the one, you pretty much unscrew this. And that's going to come out. Some people prefer to use hose clamps on this, but this is triple and quadruple barb fittings, so really it shouldn't be that necessary. But yeah, that's how the pump goes on. If you didn't watch the assembly video for this, watch that, because that pump, I set it up for inline. It comes inline or submersible. So, all right. Yeah, the hot water really helps loosen these up. These top fittings are on a slight angle upward, so like I said before, I'm going to use a natural bend of the tubing to kind of like get me the right angle on those. These are hard to get on. I've also used the hair dryer before to help loosen up the vinyl a little bit. So pretty much that'll be this side, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So they're going to be like that. I got the pieces running into the middle here. So this is the piece, one of the sides is going to come into the middle, and then it's going to tee down. I'm going to bend this one down towards the floor. And then you're going to have your tee. Your tee's going to go there, and then your other side's going to connect in just like that. So I'm not going to make you all sit here and watch me struggle putting on this tubing, but it does take, it's a little hard to do. All right, so we got that part of it done. Then this is going to be the piece that goes down to the floor. I'm going to kind of make the bend aim that way, so that's where the tubing's going. If I was going to do the left side reservoir, I would have done it that way, but it can be flipped. So then this is going to get a little elbow on it. might even go off to the side on this a little bit. Kind of aim it towards where I'm going. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to put this thing totally together because I got to go ship it out. So, but yeah, that's your main waterfall manifold. Once it's on there, it's on there. All right. I'm going to go heat the rest of this up. Actually, I'm just going to go for it. That's what's going to be coming off the pump right there. This one kind of snakes through, so it's can be a little difficult, but once you get it all stuck together, it's not going nowhere. So yeah, that's going to go like that. Then this is going to come in and hook in. And that's going to go out the hole. So pretty much that's what you got. You're good. And out the hole. And then down to the pump. All right, this is the water level kit. It's pretty much a 1/2 inch bulkhead, a little piece of bluish tubing, and then a 14-inch piece of blue tubing, which that all comes with it already cut, ready to go. You just got to screw it together. This is that special little clip I was talking about. Those are hard to find. We don't really sell them individually because they come with the kit. But other than that, I wanted to talk real quick about the air on this. Haven't really touched on that. The 4-plant version, pretty much the pump's creating some oxygen, the waterfall's creating oxygen, and we also have a 4-output air pump with dedicated outputs. I've talked a lot about air pumps in a lot of my videos. I don't want to sit here and go through the whole thing again, but between the 3 different ways this thing aerates, it should have plenty of oxygen in there. Inside the buckets, and like I said before, the green comes in 10-foot lengths, which should be plenty. A lot of people like to keep their air lines the same length so everything's even. But this thing stirs up so much, it's not even going to matter. Everything's going to be aerated at the same level. This is an air cylinder stone. Pretty much air comes out all over it. So I like this better than them discs. The discs, I always see stuff getting underneath of them. Can't stand that. Plus the bottom of this thing doesn't really have a place for a disc to stand out good. So yeah. These are only like a few bucks a piece. So after every run I chuck them and just get new ones. And pretty simple. I usually set my stone like right underneath where the plant's going to be at. That way it's coming right up through the roots. Pretty basic. And you can do whatever you want with that at home if you're going to try to beef up the air. But to me, it's like I wouldn't want to have my roots completely filling this entire thing up, coming out this tube and everything. You know, I think it's enough oxygen the way it is. That's what I'm saying. So I try to cover everything I could on this for the build. Like this is a build video, so we've already done the assembly video on how to run this thing already. So this build video is really for everybody out there, other countries, people who just want to do stuff themselves. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Gary from PA Hydroponics, York Springs, Pennsylvania. If you did enjoy this, please subscribe to us. That's what keeps me going here. And if you got comments, you can put them in the comments below. Please don't blow my phone up. Like, try to info at PAHydroponics.com, info at PAHydroponics.com. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, because I'm always running around doing all kinds of stuff. So, but yeah, we got Instagram, Facebook, all that. So thank you. Peace out.